To you who has many talents, I made this video for you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So a little background before I go into the cocoa of the video. Growing up, I went from being that person who didn't really have a talent, who I didn't have, like when they would ask you what's your talent, I couldn't dance. I didn't think my voice was good enough. I didn't feel like I had a talent. I went from being that person to being somebody who was very gifted. Growing up, I used to be that child that was in every unit, every department. So I was in the choir, I would join choreography, I was in debate club, I was in French club. I was everywhere. And the more I grew, as I matured, I started to realize that I could do so many things, and it started to become a problem on how to manage it, how to best navigate these issues. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today about having many gifts and managing them. Okay, so here's the one thing I want you to note. Your dreams are valid. That's number one. Your dreams are valid. Your visions, everything you feel like you want to do, everything you feel like you can do, they're valid, right? And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like, I remember thinking, I want to do so much. And you know how they say, jack of all trades, master of none. That's not actually even the full quote of that stuff. Do you get? So be able to stand in the right of, this is who I am and these are the things that I can do. And to be honest, I always say be able to explore all your skills. Is by exploring everything you can do that you know what you really want to do. I don't know if that makes any sense. And there's probably a better advice, but this is how I see it. I feel like you should explore. This is the gifts I have. This is what I can do with it. And be able to say, okay, you know what? Okay, let me use myself for example now. I sing half and half. I don't really sing well. I've been quiet for a while. I cook really well. I write really well. I'm also very good at like finance and whatever. I do spoken word. I'm awesome at it. So there's a lot of different number of things that I feel like are within my skill set. I'm also the kind of person who learns things very quickly. So if I put my mind to learning a thing, I probably will catch it very quickly. That being said, now that we've talked about how being jack of all trades is not a bad thing. Number two, you don't have to monetize your every passion. Again, you don't have to monetize your every passion. A friend of mine once said that some things are better off as hobbies. You need to understand that when you monetize everything, you don't have any hobbies left. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I've had people ask me, oh, why don't you want to start a cooking thing? Because if you know me, you know that I love to cook. But I always say I want some of my hobbies to remain hobbies. You have to understand that not everything, you know, is supposed to become a career. Not everything is supposed to be what you're supposed to do. Not everything is to be pursued as a career. And understanding that will save you a lot of headache, will save you a lot of stress. Being able to say, you know what, I love to, maybe, for example, you can dance, you can sing, you can cook, you can code, you can do so many things at once, right? Being able to somehow streamline these passions in a way that some of them remain hobbies and some of them you pursue full time in terms of writing. For example, now I write, but the way that I make money from my writing is by writing on guest blogs or books that I have published, yes. But my blog will always be free, because for me it's the one place that when everything else feels like it's crumbling, I can go to my blog and write, because that is personal for me, that is sanctuary for me, that is a safe haven for me, and I'm not pressured by numbers, by crunches, by the need to be right, by the responsibility of making it a career. I'm not saddled with that responsibility, and so that is my free space. And you need to have that for yourself. You need to be able to have that thing that is just for you, that is not necessarily monetized or turned into a career or turned into a passion. So when you go for all these entrepreneurship things, they tell you have to, find your passion and go with it. And while that is awesome advice, it's not always the best advice, because not everything, not every skill, not every talent you have should be monetized. So how do you know which ones to monetize and which ones to not monetize? There are a couple of questions you're going to ask yourself. You had all the money in the world, you had all the time in the world. If money and time were not a factor, what is it that you really do for the rest of your life? Think about that, write it down. That's very key, that's very important. For me, if there was no money in the world, if there was no time in the world, if time was not a factor, if money was not a factor, I would definitely write every day till I die, because writing is that important to me. Yeah, so find that thing, that one thing that drives you. Yeah, next, as you who has many talents, you are prone to burnout. Because you can do so many things at the same time, there is the temptation to do all at once. And so you're writing, you are coding, you are singing, you are dancing, you are doing choreography, you are cooking, you're doing it all at the same time. And it's important to note that you cannot do all at once. You will burn out, you will get tired, fatigue will finish you. You're just gonna, you'll be too tired. And I don't think that it works that way. So be able to streamline your passions, in the sense that you can't do everything at once. And I know because I've been there, right? When you have so many gifts, you feel like you have to there's that do or die feeling you have on your inside, like I have to pour it out, if not it will die. But what I've learned to do is, when I get an idea and I'm working on another idea, I write it down. Currently I have about 12 book ideas. My time and nuggets, but I have about 12 written story novel ideas of books I want to flesh out. So when those things come out, I write them down. When I get a new recipe in my head, I write it down. When work-wise I get a new solution, I write it down. And be able to streamline it in a way that you are not doing too much at once, in a way that you are not burning out. And one amazing way to do it is to figure out your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What is it about dancing that means so much to you? What is it about singing that means so much to you? Why does this gift mean so much to you? What do you want to use this gift to do? What is the overall idea, the overall plan, the overall dream of this gift? Being able to figure out the overall desire, the overall plan, the overall idea of this gift helps you know when to do what. There's the popular Rihanna example about how Rihanna started off with music, and then after a while she came out with the makeup, MAC and whatnot, and now there's Fenty skincare. So you can either do that one by one and say, okay, I'll do this now and do that later and do this now. Like me, I have things I'm doing now, and I have things that after this particular time in my life, this is all I want to be doing. But you can also find a way, if your gifts and your talents are things that kind of just intertwine, you can find a way to do them all at once. For example, I write, I also do spoken word and writing books can coexist side by side. Finance, crunching numbers can coexist side by side, in the sense that I can maintain my 9 to 5. In my free time, I can write books, I can write spoken word, I can memorize what I need to do. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So being able to merge these side by side. If your gifts are in such a way that they can coexist, if your gifts are in such a way that they can be merged, you can find a way to somehow tie all of them with a nice little ribbon and do them at the same time. But if not, my dear, slow. Next point, don't compare yourself to A or B. Don't be like, there's a temptation to say, other people are having it easy, other people are doing this. Learn to be able to go on your own journey without necessarily branching from another person, or fighting with another person, or trying to do things the way another person is doing it. For example, in 2017-ish, I was working on a novel. I still published it in 2017, but I was on the end. I was at the getting to the ending part, and at the time, I was reading. I can't remember the book. I think it was a Ted Dekker book, and I remember thinking, I remember not feeling like my writing was nice enough. I remember not feeling like my writing was geng enough. I remember feeling like, oh my God, this is weird. But the Holy Spirit brought something to my attention that has stuck with me ever since. And he said, who are your favorite authors? And I remember thinking at the time, Francine Rivers, I like Chimamanda's books, even though the ending she lost cliffhangers. I remember saying Ted Dekker, I remember saying Frank Peretti, I remember thinking Colin Hoover, I remember thinking, I can't remember the rest of them, but calling these people, and he said, do any of them write alike? And then it came to my attention that each of these amazing people that I loved had different writing styles. Each of these amazing people that I love, although they were all writing fiction, had different ways of going about it, in their narration style, in the way they uncovered the story, in their endings, down to the punctuations and sentence constructions. All of them had different styles, but I loved all of them the same, because I had come to appreciate that in other people's writing. And he was like, why can't you appreciate that you are different sometimes, and being able to accept that and find your voice? And so when you can do so many things, it's easy to get lost in the sauce. It's easy to just get drowned and overwhelmed and not be able to find your unique voice. Find the thing that is particular to you, and being able to stick to that and say, okay, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'll continue to do, and owning it and holding it close. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to find your voice. It's important that you find your voice. If not, you find yourself hopping on the next best trend. You find yourself hopping on the next best thing, and you don't have to do that. To be honest, there's no need. You have to be able to own it. Find your voice and own it. Now I know what my voice sounds like. I know what my writing pattern is like. I know the kind of writer I am. I know what I aim to do with my writing, and I've owned that, right? I hold it close, and I hold it very close. I don't joke with it. I know who I am. I know what I want to sound like. And so I'm able now to read a myriad of books, of literature, and not try to write like a certain writer, and know that, okay, this is amazing, and appreciate it without trying to conform. I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope you get me. So that's that about that. Last but not least is the fact that your gifts are, I want you to know that these things were put into you for a reason. These talents, these gifts, this desire to do these amazing things were put in you by God for a reason, right? There's a reason you can do all these amazing things that you can. And I believe that every human being is unique. Salem, one of my friends, often says that we're a combination of 5 different individual things. And no two people have the same exact combination of those things. And being able to leverage on the fact that even though everybody is doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter, to be honest. Just being able to stick to who you are and what you're doing. There's so much more that could be said. So you know what you do for me. If you have any more advice, if you know you've struggled with having too many talents or too many gifts, and you don't know how to navigate it, leave a comment for somebody, leave an advice for somebody in the comment section, okay? Tell them something good, tell them something great, tell them something that's helped you over time. If this video definitely helped you, don't forget to share it with another person, okay? Don't forget to subscribe and, you know, the remaining shenanigans. I love you guys, love you so much. I'm always rooting for you. Till next time, okay?